very fruity. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. And today we have a look at the brand new Kilbeggan, 21 years old, Irish blended whiskey, yes, from the Cooley distillery, which lies in the north of the Republic of Ireland, close to the border to Northern Ireland. Kilbeggan was converted from a, pharmaceutical alcohol plant, yes, to a vodka distillery, and then going further to a whiskey distillery, and then it was sold to Jim Beam in 2013, I think. The range of whiskies coming from the Cooley's distillery has kept the same pace of innovation as before, so not much has changed. And a few weeks ago I tasted the Kilbeggan single grain, 8 years old. And today, we have a blended whiskey, means a mixture of grains, like in the 8-year-old single grain, and malt whiskies, which are bottled typically as single malt whiskey. So this is a typical Irish blended whiskey. How much malt and how much grain is in this whiskey, I don't know. There's a very tricky package with magnets on top, and the well-known bottle of Kilbeggan. And here it's on the package: traditional Irish whiskey. Kilbeggan, 21 years old, is a beautiful balance of hand-selected casks of the oldest grain and malt whiskies, as always, matured in a combination of American bourbon, port, Madeira, and sherry barrels. Barrels, not casks. Barrel is the American name for a cask and typically shows American standard barrel a size of 55 gallons or 208 liters, if I'm right. And casks is the more or less European name from the southern states of Europe, like the port cask or sherry casks. So there are port and sherry casks on the market which have the size of barrels and which are made out of American oak. So what they really used for maturation, I don't know. So this barrels is weird. For a sweet, smooth taste and a complex character that can only be achieved after so many years of careful aging. Kilbeggan was bought by Jim Beam, as I said, and the Jim Beam produced a Lafroig single malt whiskey in Scotland, which is also owned by Jim Beam. And they put on the card box Lafroig with K, with an E in front of the Y. So they had a spelling mistake. Perhaps these Madeira and sherry barrels are also from these knowing marketeers. I don't know. I always make jokes about the writings of the marketers, musketeers, whatever. For a sweet, smooth taste and a complex character that can only be achieved after so many years of careful aging. This is a limited edition, premium traditional Irish whiskey and is meant to be enjoyed without exception. Nose. Deep, complex and multifaceted, with a delicious ripe fruit of berries, bananas and oranges, accompanied by nectar, plum and cedar oak. So this is the fruitiness of the sherry, Madeira and port casks. Oranges, probably from the distillery character. Plum. This is typically a dark ripe fruit from the long aging. Cedar oak, well, there are some very intense oaky notes if you have very old whiskey. Tasting, silky smooth, very easy to drink with hints of licorice, balanced with sweet oak, damson and vanilla. Finish, beautiful, full coffee flavor that lingers on. Coffee flavor means always a light bitterness. So if you don't like this bitterness, probably not okay with this whiskey. 40% ABV. So have a look. The same written here, nothing on the back. Already fruity on the nose. The color is not too dark. That means that the so you see the color better. That those amount of sherry, Madeira and port cask is not that high, or those casks have been used multiple times, so that the intense color which comes with the first filling of those casks isn't present in this whiskey. Very fruity. Complex. That means there's a lot in it. I'm not quite able in this moment to figure out what it is. Well, ripe fruits, yes. Berries, I go with this. Bananas, well, sweet. There's some oranges in it, which is this quite sour. A hint of sourness, which comes probably from the still character, from the distillery character. In the back there is some, well, spiciness from the wood, some aromatic spiciness of the wood. Perhaps that's meant with this cedar wood. Even if the maturation completely was done in oak, it's definitely not true that they use cedar wood for aging. Yeah, have a sip. Sweet and silky, and then oak. Just chewing on oak. Licorice coming up. Bitterness appearing, and the bitterness stays. This coffee aroma, as was said on the card box. The nose very smooth and sweet and fine textured, and the taste really extreme. 21 years in oak. More vanilla coming up, more caramel, but the sweetness probably more from the fruity side than from the caramel side. If you find the right distance, it's more and more vanilla. Yeah. So this is really an old one, and it shows the oakiness really. So if you're not fond of coffee, this one is not for you. There's this always present but distant bitterness of the coffee in the back. Yeah. Well, still there. Sweet fruitiness. Well, this is one of the very few that old whiskies from Cooley. So it's quite expensive, as all aged, for tens of years, aged whiskies from Ireland are. So this is 150 euros, dollars, pounds, whatever. Ireland, it's euros, so 150 euros at least. Thank you for watching. There's more to come. We had already the Kilbeggan 8 years old, single grain, as I said, and well, stay tuned. We will see if there's more coming from Coolest Distillery